走一下走。Hi, good afternoon, everyone. A very warm welcome for joining our Facebook Live session today. First and foremost, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Felicia from Bagan Specialty Marketing Team, and I will be your host for today's program. I'm going to invite Ms. Kang Jia Yi, our clinical psychologist of Bagan Specialty Center, to share with us 3 series of Back Towards webinar for working adults on the way to cope with COVID-19 stress on every Friday, 4 o'clock. Today, Ms. Kang will share the third series of the topic of taking control of anxiety. If you have any question to ask, please feel free to raise the question in Facebook post column. Now, please allow me to welcome Ms. Kang to start her talk, and over to you, Ms. Kang.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Once again, thank you for tuning in, and thanks to Ms. Felicia for introducing today's webinar. Again, my name is Ms. Kang, so I'm a clinical psychologist at Bagan Specialty Center. Today's topic will be talking about anxiety. We will talk about how we can try to anxieties a little bit more, and then I will also be introducing mindfulness. Okay, it will be a way for us to manage our anxiety, so it'd be good to understand how mindfulness actually works. How can we take control of our anxieties with mindfulness? And even if anxiety is not a very big concern for all of us, it's always healthy, or it's always good to adopt a mindfulness or a very mindful lifestyle, okay, just to manage our anxieties and our worries better. And I'll also introduce some techniques that we can all do at home or at your workplace that is easily done. Okay. So without further ado, let's just talk about worry first. Worrying is a term that I think is more commonly known for all of us. When we say that your friend is thinking too much, then we say, don't worry too much, don't think too much. So what exactly is it? It's an emotional state. It's also a feeling. Okay. It can be concern. It can be uneasiness, for example. Okay. It's also a very normal reaction to stress, which helps us to cope, because by worrying, sometimes it helps us to prepare for whatever that is coming up in the near future. Okay. But when is excessive worrying going to lead to significant anxiety problems? So we need to now look further into how much of an excessive worrying will actually become unhealthy and not impactful on our mental health. Okay. So anxiety itself is a common mental health problem, similar to, as I've shared in the last session. Depression is also a very common mental health problem among all of us. We can easily develop an anxiety problem at different phases of our lives. Okay? It is mainly characterized by excessive worry. Okay? Excessive worry, fear, unease, apprehension, pessimism. Okay, and the individual will find it difficult to control that worry. Okay, excessive worry means that your worry might be not equal to the issue that you're worrying about. For example, it could be some small matters, daily matters, okay? And the extent that you're worrying will be causing some other physical symptoms as well. Or the amount of time that is spent worrying is more than it should be. For example, almost all day or for days, okay, until the item that issue is resolved. You will be worrying, okay, so that will be considered as excessive. All right. And of course, such an excessive state of worrying or leading to anxiety might actually cause impairment in daily functioning. Okay, so I'm going to be listing down some of the symptoms, okay, that will cause such impairment. In technical terms, anxiety will general anxiety is called generalized anxiety disorder, mainly because this excessive worry is most of the time about any issue, any small or big issue, day to day, about whether what to whether it's going to rain today, or whether I'm able to catch my bus today to work, or whether the meeting is going to go well, or whether I'm going to be able to sleep tonight. Okay, so worries about little issues and every day. Okay, so if you look here, in order to meet criteria to be diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder, the excessive anxiety or worry will be occurring more days than not for at least 6 months. Okay, and it will be about day-to-day activities. Okay, and the individual will have difficulties controlling the worrying. So even if, like, for example, you have done your exercise, or you try to distract yourself with other things, watching TV, or but it's still there. Okay, so that's what it means by having difficulties controlling that worry. Okay, and the impact of such excessive anxiety is often accompanied by physiological symptoms, meaning our bodily symptoms. Okay, some of the symptoms that people who are going through an anxiety disorder will likely experience some of these. Restlessness, okay, so difficulties probably sitting down or relaxing, or like you have to be pacing all the time, cannot sit still because you're so worried. Okay, easily fatigued. Okay, if you're using too much of mental effort or emotional effort to worry, it will also cause a toll on our body. Okay, so that person might feel like, oh, I'm so tired all the time. Okay, difficulties concentrating, okay, or mind going blank because there's too much in mind. Okay, irritability. Irritability is likely due to difficulties finding a solution, for example, okay, or worrying too much about it. That is also impacting your mood as well. Okay, muscle tension. Okay, sometimes we might feel like our whole body is very tense. That also contributes to the fatigue as well. Sleep disturbance is also very, very common in anxiety. Okay. Okay. If you are thinking too much, especially if at night before sleeping, a lot of people will complain of, let's say, interrupted sleep or insomnia, difficulties falling asleep. Some people might have nightmares, for example, okay, dreams, that they might not remember, so it'll impact the quality of sleep as well. Okay. Then we'll talk about panic attacks. Okay. Panic attacks is another disorder. Okay. Panic disorder itself is another mental illness. Okay, but it can also accompany with a general anxiety disorder as well. So some individuals who are experiencing GAD, generalized anxiety disorder, will also have episodes of panic attacks. Okay, a panic attack will mean a sudden surge of fear or discomfort that is so intense. Okay, it can happen within minutes. It can last for very long. It can last for 15 minutes, half an hour, or even hours. Okay, and it is often accompanied by more severe physiological symptoms. Okay, these are some examples. We can have very severe palpitations, sweating, trembling, shortness of breath. Some might even feel it to the extent that they are so afraid of dying or fainting or losing control. Okay, chest pain, tension, okay, difficulties breathing, okay, chills or heat sensations, numbness, okay, or derealization, okay, derealization or depersonalization, which means you might feel like you're not here at the present, you're like somewhere, away from the present situation. Okay, so if more severe, panic attacks can often accompany an anxiety disorder. Okay, so it can come hand to hand. So most people might come in thinking they have heart attacks, okay, or they have high blood pressure. Okay, so after all medical checkups, results might turn out to be fine. Okay, which then it will show that it is likely more of a panic attack or an anxiety problem. Okay, so these are some of the symptoms that we should be paying attention to. Okay, so this is the biopsychosocial model is what I've shared for depression in the last session as well. But in case if some of us have missed it, I just thought that we should also go through this quickly. Okay, because a lot of people also ask how come I developed anxiety? How did I develop anxiety? Is it genetics? Is it my stress? Or what is it? Okay. So the answer is everything. Okay. So having someone in a family member who has had say anxiety, for example, or a parent who is more of an anxious person all the time, it doesn't necessarily mean because of that genetic you will definitely develop an anxiety problem. Okay, other things such as how you're raised, how your education background, okay, how has all that shaped your personality, friends, and your own coping and resilience as well. Okay, in dealing with stresses. So all this will come into play to cause or create an anxiety problem, or it could just be as simple as a very negative life event. Okay, like losing someone or losing, losing a certain achievement that you have expected to achieve. Okay, for example, right? In terms of treatment, there are also medications widely available. SSRIs or antidepressants and some benzodiazepines, these are all types of medications that will help to provide some form of emotional relief, okay, to treat, like say, your panic symptoms, your constant worrying, difficulty sleeping. So some of these medications will help to provide a little bit of an improvement. Okay, some individuals on medication itself will be able to resume normal functioning. Okay, therapy will also help to stimulate more improvements together with medication. So a lot of times therapy is also recommended together with medications as well, because medications helps to provide relief for your symptoms, but some individuals might still be uncertain about, hey, I still have some problems actually that I'm worried about, but I don't know how to solve it. Or now that my condition is under control, but I want to prevent that from happening again, or I want to understand further, why all this came about. So therapy will help us to gain some self-awareness. For example, mindfulness-based therapies will also help for self-acknowledgement of your stresses, your physiological symptoms, how you can accept your own worries as part of ourselves, and how we can live with it together. Okay? And of course, we can also discuss some coping techniques in therapy sessions. Okay, so if done hand in hand, medications and therapy will be very beneficial to provide a more holistic form of treatment. Okay. Right. So now that we've understood anxiety and how it becomes a disorder, how it affects our functioning, I'll be talking about mindfulness first. I'll talk about mindfulness in terms of it in its theoretical means. Then later I'll be discussing how this will actually help for anxiety and worrying and even normal daily stresses. Okay. So mindfulness is about, number one, paying attention, okay, and secondly, to stimulate more self-awareness, but in a non-judgmental manner towards what is happening in the present moment. Okay, so it means that we want to try to live in the present. We want to pay attention to the present, and we want to have more awareness to the present, but in a more non-judgmental way. Okay, I'll explain a little bit further on what these three tenets mean. Okay. All right. So our thoughts, for example, our worries, we are worrying about, say, what's going to happen tomorrow. Okay, we are worrying about what's going to happen tomorrow, and then it will affect how we feel. Then we might feel anxious. Okay, that's how the worry came about. Okay, and then maybe we'll have a panic attack, for example. So basically, our thoughts, our emotions, and our bodily functioning, all of these are connected. Okay, so when we say pay attention, okay, what does it mean? It means paying attention to all of this. Okay, to be aware of what is going on among ourselves internally and also our surroundings. Okay, we want to be aware of our thoughts, for example. Okay, but without becoming overly involved in thinking about them. Okay, so this is a form of paying kind attention. Okay. The second part, okay. So now we are speaking about kindness, isn't it? We want to practice non-judgmental awareness. Okay. When you are able to identify those thoughts, okay, your worries, figure out, okay, and observe each of these thoughts, identify them. Identify these thoughts and figure out, okay, what are they? And then try not to judge, even if it's you yourself worrying about whether you'll be able to succeed in the next hour or tomorrow or next week. Then you start thinking, oh no, why am I doing not so well compared to others? Why is it so? So by doing that itself, we are also being more critical towards ourselves. We are the ones judging ourselves, okay? So let's try to learn to give ourselves a little bit more self-compassion, okay? We acknowledge that it's okay. It's okay for me to be worried. It's okay for me to be fearful, to be afraid, okay? And it's very normal, okay? Everybody, for example, a person who is a very strong public speaker, for example, okay, that confidence doesn't just build up in a day. Okay, a speaker will have gone through a lot of training and experience, and even maybe at their 100th talk or speech, they might not be fully calm as well. They might still have some, a little bit of worrying there, a little bit of nervousness there. Okay, but we need to also understand that, okay, having just, even if we just have a little bit of worry, it's fine. It's a very normal feeling. Okay, it's very normal. Okay, the happiest person on earth also will have some form of worry. Okay, the most successful person on earth will have some time that they might have spent on worrying as well. Okay, so tell yourself that it's fine. Okay, then after that, try to pull yourself back to the present. Okay, remember the idea of impermanence. Okay, we want to accept that distress or difficulties or problems in life, or very difficult emotions, worrying, all this is temporary. Okay, it will come and then it will go. All right, but it doesn't mean it will be there forever. Even your panic attacks, it comes very fast, yes, and it's very difficult to manage, but it won't last for every second of the day. It won't last for 24 hours. okay? Just be with it, accept it as temporary. Think of it as waves. This is an analogy that I often like to use, okay? When we are at the beach, we are sitting by on the beach, okay? There will be waves that will hit us. There will be small waves, there will be big waves, okay? Or when we're swimming in the sea, small waves might just, hit our feet, and then they will just pass by, flow by, okay? Or if it's a big wave, it might hit us and we might lose our foot for a bit. We will fall down for a bit, but it's totally fine, because the idea is that these things, these worries are similar to water, similar to waves. It hits us, sometimes it's big, sometimes it's small, sometimes we fall, but it will go away, it will just flow past us, okay? So remember that, all right? So that was the 3 main ideas of mindfulness itself, okay? So now I'm going to talk about how to apply all that and how we want to actually use that to manage your anxieties, to take control, to take charge, rather than having those thoughts control us. Remember earlier, let me just flash back a little bit. Yes, paying attention means paying mindful attention, means that we want to be aware, but without becoming overly involved. Even at 1 second of a time, there'll be a lot of things happening. We are breathing, our heart is beating, the fan is blowing ahead of us, the aircon is blowing ahead of us, people around us are walking by, you're thinking about things and other people are thinking about things, okay? So a lot of things are happening, including within us, okay? Thoughts are racing, okay? We might be multitasking, doing a lot of things at once, okay? So pay mindful attention to a sense that we want to take control of our thoughts and our fears and our worries without being involved too much in thinking about them, okay? Okay, so now we want to marry mindfulness and managing anxiety together, okay? So the first question we want to ask is, where are you right now? Okay, are you at the present moment, or are you living in the past, or are you in the future? Okay, having anxiety, for example, if you are thinking too much about something that has happened and you're not sure whether it has been done well or not, okay, so by doing so, you'll be living more in the past, okay? But if you're worrying about the future, something that hasn't happened tomorrow, later when I go home, what will happen, okay? Then we will be living in the future instead, okay? So try to figure out, where are you, okay? And remember that we cannot relive yesterday, even the past second that's just passed by, we can relive that. Okay? And tomorrow is still also beyond our reach. So focus more on the present moment, work on what we have, what we can do, rather than wasting time. As I mentioned, I mean, time is a continuum, isn't it? It flows past so fast. Okay. So ask yourself whether it's worth it spending time in the past and spending time in the future. It's okay to sometimes go back a little bit or move forward to the future a little bit, but don't spend too long and get stuck there. Okay. So in order to apply mindfulness to anxiety itself, okay, remember, be more aware of what sets you off, what triggers you. Okay, what are some of your common worrisome thoughts? Okay, is it usually work? Is it usually family? Is it usually yourself actually, that who's worrying more about your daily functioning or achievements? Okay, so try to be aware of all that, and always tell yourself, okay, if you do catch yourself, let's say putting yourself down, if you catch yourself thinking, I could have done better, I could have done so much better, okay, that was a bit stupid, okay, so then stop, pause right there, okay, take some effort to to pause and to notice that thought. Tell yourself, oh, look, I'm a bit harsh on myself again. Be kind. Tell yourself, oh, I think, it was normal for me to have reacted that way, to have, performed that way. I didn't have enough time to prepare. I didn't have enough, preparation. It was a sudden ad hoc event, for example. Okay, then accept yourself for being a normal human being, for experiencing that form of distress. Okay, and then learn to acknowledge that we all have our own limitations. We try not to compare. All of us have different limitations and different strengths. So focus on the present, focus on your own strengths and use your own strengths to solve these issues rather than, lamenting on what I could have done better or what you did not do well enough. Okay. All right. So practice, well, I'm going to go through some of healthier mindfulness habits for self-help purposes. Okay, so starting maybe now or today, try to practice these habits in order to adopt a more mindful self. Okay, first of all, limit your worry. Okay, remember it's always normal to worry. It helps us to prepare, but limit that. We want to remember that we don't want to spend too much time on the past or the future worrying about all that. We want to spend more time in the present. So limit that. Sometimes we can even set a worry time. Okay. For example, if you are someone who worries a lot, like from the moment you wake up, I worry whether there will be a jam today on my drive to work. Then I worry when I arrive at work, I worry whether, am I going to get into trouble with my colleague or my boss? Then going back to what you worry about, okay, how am I going to prepare my children for their exam tomorrow? Okay, so there's no stop worrying, but the thing is, if we worry all the time, we might not be able to function. We might not be able to pay attention to the meeting we are in. We might not be able to make a proper decision or work. Okay, so limit that time. If you notice that you're taking too much time worrying during a meeting, for example, or while you're working and you cannot pay attention, so you realize that you have been delaying your work for 15 minutes because you've been thinking too much. Okay, so tell yourself, okay, stop. It's time to stop. Time to stop now. I'm going to set a worry time for myself. You can set it a regular time. For example, it could be after dinner, for example, or let's just, for example, say if you set 7 p.m. every day. Okay, so set that time and you can even set a timer or an alarm, 15 minutes of worry time. Okay. Now that I've worried about this in my meeting for 10 minutes, but I cannot afford to worry anymore longer because I need to work. Okay, so tell us, okay, let me note it down. Okay, and I will delay this into my 7 p.m. worry time later. Okay, so write them all down, and then when you're at 7 p.m., set an alarm for 15 minutes, or maybe if you need more time, okay, maybe half an hour if you want to. The idea is when you delay that worrying, first of all, by the time you reach your worry time, you might realize that actually I don't need to worry about that anymore. Either that issue has been resolved, or after that you realize actually, after that meeting, I realize I have an idea of what I'm going to do about it. Or after my meeting that I managed to talk to my colleague, I know what I'm going to do about it already. So there is one worry less for you to worry during your worry time. Or sometimes maybe you're still worried, but then you realize, I'm not as affected. Okay, because I've gone past the day, I've accomplished a lot of things and you feel more confident. Okay, so write that all down and then do it, allocate your worries for a specific time. Okay, so limit that. Okay, then when you're able to do so, rationalize whether, okay, I've listed down 3 items that I've been worrying about the whole day. Okay, now at 7 p.m., I am looking at it. Item number 1, have I solved it? Okay, maybe it's been solved. Okay, then item number 2, and number 3 have not been solved. Which one am I able to work on first? Which one I can't? Okay, so prioritize all that and then make a decision. After you're done with that, cross off your worries, and then throw away that piece of paper. Okay, tomorrow, yes, maybe you will still repeat repeatedly worry about the same thing. But, go through this cycle again. If you realize you've been worrying, spending too much time on it during the day, you cannot function, then at least sit down again, go back home, go through it again during your worry time. Okay, then by the time you'll be, I've actually thought about it. Item number 3 or item B, I've worried about it already, and I've come to the conclusion yesterday that this is something that I cannot solve now. This is something that I can only get an answer from my colleague next week. Then only I can solve this problem next week. Okay, so you cross that off. You just tell yourself that, okay, this is not something I can solve, and I've already reached that conclusion. So today I don't need to spend any more time to worry about that. Just keep it aside. Keeping it aside doesn't mean that you're throwing away that need to worry about it. The problem is still there, yes, but we just put it aside, KIV. Okay, you don't need to throw it away, because if we throw it away, we forcefully throw that item away, it will make us feel even anxious. Okay, so remember, it's about accepting, acknowledging, and then coping with it. Okay, so yes, take action and focus on one thing at a time if you need to. Focus on things that are within control first, okay? And then, yes, by doing so, also by setting worry time, it will interrupt the worry cycle. It will shift your focus. Like I've mentioned earlier, if you're during that 1 hour meeting, you spend the full 15 minutes worrying and you didn't manage to pay attention to what was the content of the meeting. So we ask yourself, okay, to put this aside, and I'll think about it later at 7 p.m. during my worry time. By doing so, you'll be interrupting that, you'll be breaking that vicious cycle, and you'll be shifting your focus as well. Okay, so go and do other things. Do other things that you can resolve first. Okay. And by doing so, also remember that it will really help you to feel more accomplished and more confident. So in this, by practicing all these habits, it will help us to take charge of our worries rather than letting that worry consume us and affecting what we need to do. Okay, so these are some quite helpful tips from my end that I also hope that will be helpful for all of you as well. Okay. Okay. So yep, these are just some of the positive self-talk that we can do for ourselves. Okay, like for example, I've coped with this before. I have worried about this already yesterday or the day before, and I don't need to worry about it again today. Okay, and I'm calm, I'm safe, I'm capable. So acknowledge not just your own limitations, but also acknowledge your own strengths as well. Acknowledge that you're not always rational, okay, and understand that some of our worries may be, illogical or excessive. For example, maybe the extent of your worry is true, but it's maybe 20%, but we are worried for like about a full 100%. Okay, so learn to analyze that. Okay. All right. So apart from some of the healthy habits that we can learn to start to incorporate in our life, I will be introducing some of the easier mindfulness techniques as well that we can apply. Remember the part where I mentioned about distraction, shifting your focus, interrupting the worries. So let's say we can't distract ourselves by doing something else. It's still there. When we try to do something else, it's still there in our head. Okay, so what can we do? Okay, what are some of the mindfulness exercises that we can do? All right. So first of all, it's a deep breathing exercise. This is what I've introduced in for management of depression as well, for crisis management, for when someone is going through a difficult crisis, or if you need to calm someone down. So this is similar to that. It's the same method, okay? But by incorporating this method, the mindful way, other than breathing in and out, the idea is to focus on your breathing, okay? When we are worried or when we are panicking, we are having a panic attack, we'll be thinking that, I'm going to die, I'm going to pass out, I'm going to lose my control, I'm going to fall, okay, I'm going to faint in the middle of my driving, okay? So, take a break and do a short deep breathing exercise. So remember, it's 4, 7, and 8. Breathe in from your nose by counting to 4, which is about 4 seconds. And then hold your breath for about 7 seconds. And remember, if it's too long, you can cut it down to 5 or 6 seconds. And then lastly, breathe out from your mouth. Okay, this should be the longest part of this exercise. It should be about 8 seconds. It should be the longest and the slowest. Okay, so you wanna breathe out very, very slowly, like. Okay, so do it slowly so that you can release all that air from your body, all that tension from your body, and by making some breathing sounds also, it might help you feel a little bit more relaxed as well. Okay, so keep repeating this cycle. Breathe in, hold, breathe out. Okay, repeat. If you need, take however much time as you need, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour, that's totally fine with you. Okay, so just keep repeating this, but remember now, you want to pay attention to the breathing. How does it feel when the air goes in from your nose? Okay, is it cold? Is it warm? Is it, like fluttery? Then when you hold your breath, how do you feel? How about your heart rate? Can you take note of that? How about your body temperature? Is it slowly being lowered down? And when you're holding your breath, is it difficult? Okay, so focus on the process of breathing rather than whatever that's going on in your mind. Okay. And remember, if, let's say the thoughts are still there, it's totally fine. It's fine. Our mind is designed to think. Okay. When you notice that you're lost in your thoughts again, then ask yourself to come back to breathing. You may close your eyes. Ask yourself to, okay, wait. I'm going a bit, off. I'm dreaming, or I'm thinking about, I'm going to worry again. Let's come back. It's fine that I'm worrying. Remember, acknowledge that it's fine. It's normal for you to worry again, and it's normal for you to be distracted with your breathing exercise by worrying again. And tell yourself it's fine. I'll come back to my breathing. Okay. So say like, oh, I got distracted. Okay. What was happening? I was breathing in. Okay, so let's try to do that again. I breathe in through my nose. Okay, and there's a whoosh of air. And how does it feel? Okay, so focus on that. Okay. Another form of exercise that will help very much to distract our thoughts is also while it can be coupled together when we are doing the deep breathing exercise as well. Okay, it's called grounding. Okay, so as the name implies, it's about grounding ourselves to the ground. Okay, metaphorically speaking. Okay, and you want to be present. Okay, sometimes when we are worrying too much, remember, one of the symptoms of anxiety or panic attacks might be like depersonalization. You might feel like you're not in your body, or you're not in control of your body or yourself. Okay, so grounding will help a lot in that sense. Okay. The grounding technique focuses on all of our 5 senses. Okay, we all have 5 senses. We have our eyesight, we have our hearing, we have our smell, our hearing, we have our taste. Okay, so if you're panicking, or if you're worried to the extent that you're hyperventilating, you can't sleep, you can't pay attention. Okay, pause again, take a break, and take some time to do some grounding. Okay, ask yourself, what are some of the things that I see? What are some of the things that I can touch? Okay, what are some of the things that I can hear? What are some of the things I can smell? What are some of the things that you can taste? So for example, I can see that there's a blue chair in front of me, or I have a red pen next to me. Okay, and I'm touching my hands are on my lap. I'm touching my pants. Okay, how does it feel? It's rough. Is it jeans? Is it smooth? Okay, so ask yourself that. Or do you have a stress ball? Okay, and what are some of the things that you hear? Okay, so even when you're doing deep breathing, you can ask yourself, okay, if you're distracted, what? Oh, I heard something. I was distracted by noise. What was it? Okay, so it's better to focus on these things, even our surroundings, rather than the thoughts that are affecting us. Okay. Okay. Anda diminta untuk mengalihkan kendaraan Anda ke tempat parkir. All right, sorry, apologies for that. There was a PA announcement, so I just briefly muted just in case that it will affect hearing about what I'm trying to say, and you're listening as well. So yeah, back to our senses. Okay, ask yourself what are some of the things that you are smelling. Okay, maybe you have like what do you call it, a scented candle at your home, in your room. Do you smell that? Okay, then what are some of the things you taste? Okay, do you taste your saliva, or are you eating a piece of chocolate, for example? Okay, focusing on these 5 senses, if there are, let's say, nothing available for you to smell, nothing available for you to taste, so it's something that we can easily work around it. Okay, figure out what works for you. Basically, we can keep things with us, like things that smell very strong, like perfume, or what do you call it, the medicated oil, or like a tiger balm. It's spicy. Okay, even tiger balm itself can be a form of something that you can feel, you can touch. Okay, because when you put it on, it's very spicy. The feeling is very strong. It will help to distract yourself from the thoughts for a bit. Okay, and by touch, you can even keep a stress ball with you. Okay, pressing on the stress balls. Stress balls are very tough, some of them. So if by squeezing those stress balls, it might be a form of distraction as well. But when you're doing it, remember to focus on the feeling of squeezing it. How does it feel on your fingers and on your palm? Okay, and things you can taste that's even easier. Basically, food. Okay, it can be what do you call that? Asam. Or it could be sweets or hacks, mints that are, you can find the spiciest mints available. Okay, so basically, this is what grounding is. And if you are someone who's prone to having anxiety attacks, okay, so keep these things available with you in your bag, at your workplace, at your work desk. Okay, so that you can easily reach out to them when you are panicking, because often when we are panicking or when we are anxious, we are unable to go and get that thing, go into the room to get that thing, for example. Okay, so yeah, these are some methods. There are a lot of other examples of mindfulness techniques, but I won't be able to demonstrate them, mainly because this is one thing is it's a virtual session, so it's a bit difficult to connect. And the other thing is there's a time constraint. But I've linked, I put it up here. Some of the some other mindfulness techniques can be such as body scan. Okay, so it is almost similar to deep breathing, but by doing a body scan, you scan through your whole body rather than just your breathing. And sometimes when we're doing that body scan, we also do that deep breathing together. Okay? But we try to focus on our whole body sensations. Okay, so it'll be a longer kind of method. It might take let's say half an hour. Okay, something you can do at home when you have more time. Okay. So, and there's also something called guided imagery. It's a form of guided relaxation where a lot of times people can be guided to imagine a situation or an environment that is very calming, like a beach, a rainforest. Okay, and then while doing so, we are also doing our deep breathing, and we are encouraged to think positive thoughts and to acknowledge it if your mind drifts away and start worrying again, and to pull yourself back. Okay, so yes, due to limitations and time constraints, I linked a very helpful mindfulness resource here, this website here. There are a lot of helpful articles and a lot of helpful scripts for yourself to actually practice. Okay, practice scanning your body, or there are audio clips, and there are even written scripts for yourself to practice as well. So feel free to check that out if you are interested in it, because it will really, really help. Okay. All right. So we've covered anxiety, we've covered what mindfulness is, we've covered how it can help, with our anxieties, and we've also covered some mindfulness exercises. Now we'll just talk about in general, okay, how do we incorporate mindfulness in our daily lifestyle? So this is for all of us who maybe we don't really have an anxiety issue, but we just want to adopt this lifestyle to help us be calmer, to help us be emotionally healthier, to help us be more in charge with our emotions, and to be more at peace with ourselves. Okay, so the question is, when do we do it? How often do we do it? For example, now that you know how to do deep breathing, or you've known how to do a body scan, but then how these are things that I need to put in conscious effort to do, isn't it? Like, and I have to put time to do, I might have to go to a different place. Okay, but in our daily lifestyle, when do we do it? How do we do it? Where? The answer is anytime, anywhere, whenever you want, and how often. You just need to remember to put in the effort. Okay, so for example, be mindful when we are walking. Okay, if you're walking at work, pay attention if you are normally walking very fast, you're rushing here and there all the time. Even going to toilet also you're rushing, or even going to eat also you're rushing. So when you're walking everywhere, pay attention to that. Pay attention to your feet. If you're wearing shoes, you're wearing socks, how does it feel? So when take some time to walk rather than uh, going on such a fast-paced lifestyle. Okay, and if let's say you are able to go to the beach, you're able to walk at your, what do you call it, some of us might have facilities at home where there are at the parks where there's those what do you call it, pathways with Zen stones, okay, for us to walk on. So those are very helpful. Those are very good places to practice mindful walking as well. So when you're walking on top of those stones, or when you're walking on the beach, ask yourself, how does the sand feel? How does it feel for my body pressure to make the sand sink in? Okay, how does all that feel? How does it feel for my feet to touch against the tough stones on the walkway? Okay. Be mindful on your commute to work, and everywhere, or if you're sending your child here and there. All of us can live quite a hectic lifestyle. So be mindful of that. Sometimes when we are driving every day to work, we take the same route. Sometimes when we arrive, we even ask, hey, did I pass by that landmark? Was there a jam? I can't remember. Did I see that person? Or sometimes we don't realize that I've already passed by. Okay, so be mindful. Pay attention to, for example, the road. Pay attention to how your hand feels on the steering wheel. Pay attention to your surroundings, rather than being sometimes drowned in our worries. Okay, so have a peaceful commute. Back to and back from work. Okay. Pay attention also when we are eating, when you're eating, okay? A lot of us eat very fast. We don't have time to eat. Sometimes we just squeeze through a meal during our lunch break. So we eat very fast, we swallow very fast. Some people might have gastrointestinal issues because of that, burping, excessive burping, indigestion, okay? So pay attention when you're eating, even if you have, say, only 15 minutes to eat. Let's say if you only have 15 minutes to eat, but that's fine. Just try to also savor your food, okay? It doesn't mean that you have to eat very, very slow or you need to swallow like 100 times. It just means that while you're eating, we focus just on eating. So we try to have a relaxed 15-minute lunch break rather than it's supposed to be a break, but then while you're eating also it's all about thinking about, what I need to do after my lunch break. Okay, so we only have so much time in a day. We try not to let our stresses or anxieties also eat up our lunch time. Okay. Then also be mindful in a conversation or in a confrontation. Okay, pay attention to the language you use. Pay attention to your facial expressions, to your bodily language. The way you are sitting, does it send off a message that you are impatient? Are you crossing your arms? Are you crossing your legs? Does it make the other person feel uncomfortable? Okay, what about your tone of voice? Are you speaking too fast? There are people, some people we know might speak very fast or speak very loud all the time. It's something that we are used to doing. It doesn't mean that it's bad, but for certain contexts or certain conversations, we might need to tweak, change it a little bit, to the situation or the topic of discussion. If it's for example, a very sad topic, so we can't be still talking very fast, or we can't still be rushing people, for example. Okay, so be mindful of all that. And even if it's a conflict, it takes two for an argument to start, for a conflict to start. So are you the one triggering it? Or maybe you're not the one triggering it, you're not the one starting it, but are you continuing it? Are you making it worse? Okay, so pay attention to all that, because I'm sure in our work life or our personal lives, maybe conversations with our spouses or our children, sometimes we just lash out without even realizing. So yeah, be mindful of that. You can even be mindful in the shower. Okay? A lot of us feel like being in the shower, is like an escape. We are alone in the shower, we think, or so feel the water basically flowing on you. If you're putting on soap, how does it feel? How does it smell? Yeah. How long of a time do you normally spend in the shower? Is the water hot or the water cold? Is the what do you call it? The impact or the pressure, yes, of the water. Is it very heavy? Is it very heavy pressure, or is it very light kind of feeling? Okay, so pay attention to that. Remember, it's all about paying attention to what's going on to yourself and also your surroundings and whatever that you're doing, rather than always drifting away. Okay. Be mindful in bed as well. Okay, what do you do in bed? Do you spend a long time, like maybe if you want, you plan to sleep at 11, for example, but you always end up sleeping at 12 because you take 1 hour lying down in bed, scrolling through social media, your phone before you sleep. So remember, pay attention to that and see if it's really affecting your sleep, or if you do work in bed. Okay, what else do you do, or is your bed messy? Okay, does it actually contribute to your sleeping problems? Okay, all that. What do you think about in bed before you lie down in bed? Try to not bring your worries there. If you need to, if you realize, you started lying in bed, then you started to worry again, get out of bed, and do it somewhere else. It could be just sitting on the floor in your bedroom. You could, go out to the living room, to the dining room. But basically, let's try not to bring all that in bed to our bed, because our sleeping place is supposed to be very sacred. It's supposed to have a clear mind so that we will have a good quality of sleep. So if you realize you are doing that, you're tossing and turning, you cannot sleep, then just get out of bed. Okay, and do something else, okay, or think about it elsewhere. It's like limiting worry. It's like setting worry time. Okay, I'm going to set 15 minutes again. If you've already done it at 7 p.m. and then you need to sleep at 11, but you're still thinking, okay, tell us, okay, I'm going to do the worry time thing again. Set 15-minute alarm, go and think all whatever you can, worry whatever you can. You want to scream in the toilet, you want to shout, you want to, do some deep breathing exercise, do all that. And then when that 15 minutes is over, then only you come back to your bed. Okay. So yeah, those are some of the tips that I would like to share about being mindful in our bedroom, in our bed. Okay. Yes, and be mindful on social media as well. Be aware of why you're putting up posts, why you're putting up statements, what you're sharing. Is it for your own purpose, for your own knowledge, to keep track of certain things, or do you need to share to other people? Is it affecting other people if sharing certain things? Okay. And how much time you're spending on social media. Okay. Sometimes we putting out a post or sharing certain things, it might not be important, but it's a shout out for attention, or a shout out for people to be interested or in our lives. Okay, and that's fine. Okay, but some of us might get a little bit carried away. Okay, especially if, say, individuals who are very concerned about achieving acknowledgements or likes or comments on social media. So ask yourself whether is that very important, because ultimately what's important is whether you can acknowledge your own self. Okay. Be mindful of time, of course. This is something that I cannot emphasize more enough. Okay. Remember, time passes by very fast. Remember that we only have 24 hours a day, and how much time do we spend for each part of our lives. Okay, so pay attention to that and see if do you want to really set a limit to your worry? Do you want to set a worry time instead, rather than letting that worry take control of all your time or most of your time? Okay. And then yes, be mindful or pay attention to your life commitments and your priorities. So all of us have different priorities, different commitments. Okay, so pay attention to that. And are we neglecting certain parts? Are we spending too much time on certain parts? Do we want to readjust that balance? Okay. And last but not least, please don't forget about taking care of yourself. Pay attention to your dietary habits. Remember, when you're eating, just make sure you're just eating and you're treating yourself well, you're eating well, you're eating healthier things. Okay, healthier food can also be delicious. Okay, so maybe it takes some time to do some research and to practice on how you can make healthy eating interesting and also attractive as well. Okay, pay attention also to your physical activity. It's very important. Okay, keep yourself active, even if it's just a low impact activity. Also, it's fine if it's just walking more. Maybe it could be at work, like instead of taking the stairs to the third floor or second floor, make yourself walk more. Okay, or from the car park, if you're parking just at the second floor, take the stairs down or up. Okay, regulate your sleep. So I've talked about sleep. Practicing healthier sleeping methods in bed earlier. Okay, make sure you sleep at the same time every day. You're really getting enough sleep. Okay, stay connected with people, with friends, with family. Get to know new people. Make sure you're always getting sufficient social connection, because really ultimately we all need to talk to people, we need to express ourselves, we need, yes, attention, we need attention in social media. So yeah, stay connected with your friends and your family members also. And yep, focus on hobbies. Sorry for the ovation in the H. But yes, pay attention to your hobbies and interests as well. You could even, reprioritize your life and set hobbies and interests or new skills into your time as well. Allocate some time in a day or in a week or in a month for all this as well. Okay, this is part of self-care. All right. So that will pretty much sum up today's session. Remember what are the things that the take-home messages for today. Remember some of the anxiety symptoms. Remember when it will become excessive. Remember the mindfulness techniques. Remember the theories. Remember that it's about being present. It's about being aware, paying attention, and it's about being non-judgmental. Okay, it's about self-compassion. Okay, remember some of the techniques, and remember how that being mindful, it's about incorporating it as a habit, a new way of living. It can be done anywhere at any time. Okay. Remember, if you're going through something very difficult, a very huge issue, or if it's just a small issue, even if it's just a panic episode that you're experiencing, remember that it's not permanent. Okay, this world is a very difficult world. Okay, remember that nothing is permanent in this wicked world, and it's not even our goals. It will come and it will go. It won't last forever. Okay, we can get help to resolve it. We can resolve it on our own. We can seek professional help. Okay, we can talk to someone. We can, try to change our habits all over again, change into a more mindful lifestyle. Okay, but remember, it's not permanent. Okay, and try not to go think too far ahead of ourselves. Okay, we often want to be we are human beings, but we often want to try to tell the future. Okay, but we don't have that ability. So try not to anticipate too much of trouble. Try not to worry about what may not happen. Okay, keep in the light, basically. Keep in the sunlight. Okay, so this is just some motivational quotes to help us remind ourselves of the fact that we are still in power, we are still in control. Okay, our anxieties is about living with them because it's normal, it's part of ourselves. We cannot ask ourselves to not worry at all. So live with it, learn to be with it, be friends with your anxiety, and be the one in control rather than it controlling ourselves. Okay, so thank you very much for listening in. If you have any questions, feel free to let us know. But I'm just flashing up my clinic hours here, just in case if any of you feel like you need to reach out. Remember that reaching out is the first step for all of us to move forward, and it can be the most difficult step. After reaching out, it might be easier than you think. Okay, so I will pass the time back to Miss Felicia, our host today, to just wrap up today's session. Thank you very much.
Excessive worry may lead to significant anxiety problem. Learn to understand anxiety and take charge on it. Thank you for Ms. Kang for sharing today on the taking control of anxiety. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Have a nice day, everyone.